Okay, let's call to order this meeting of the Urbana Civilian Police Review Board. Take the roll, please.
Tom Costello,
Here.
Ricardo Diaz, Scott Dossett, Diane Gottheil,
Here.
James McNeely,
Here.
and Ivy Williams.
It's my understanding she will be here in just a few minutes. Okay. Todd, can we have a staff report, please?
Sure. I submitted a written staff report to you. Are there any questions on that, just before I get started? It is the one, it's in memo format with a table on it.
Yes.
So, since the previous CPRB meeting on January 22nd, the four cases we've had no new complaints since then. The four cases that were filed during the 2013 calendar year have been investigated by UPD and closed. Amongst the four cases filed within the previous 4 months, we have sort of a listing of incident types. We've had one for unofficer-like conduct and 3 for improper procedure. There are no changes to the budget to report. In terms of announcements, I just want to let everyone know that the 20th annual NACOL conference will be held in Kansas City this year. If any members are interested in attending, please see me or Tony.
When is that?
It is going to be September 14th through September 18th.
Right, I thought it was in the fall. Right.
Yeah. So if anyone's interested in that, please feel free to give me or Tony a call, and we can help you make arrangements.
If we have an opportunity, I think you may want to put me down for that.
Sure.
I think I need one more meeting to get my certification.
All right. And I've also included the report, the table report for your review. It's the spreadsheet or the table. Are there any questions on that report?
Diane? Okay.
All right. So my understanding is that, yes, all of these have been resolved, or at least they've had the initial determination and initial findings made, and I believe the statute of limitations, or the time limit for filing an appeal has run in each of the other cases.
So we have a total of 4 outstanding cases right now, then, is that?
In terms of outstanding cases, no. Actually, I don't think we have any.
For the newly filed?
No.
ones? Okay, all right. Okay.
Any other questions or?
Okay. Public participation? Old business outreach subcommittee?
No,
Nothing to report?
I'm
Okay.
sorry to say, Eileen, I have not met again. If she's here today, I will make a date with her.
Okay. The new business. Chief, you have something to present?
Hopefully I won't take up too much of your time. I did want to show you a short video this evening. Over the course of the past couple of years, we've recognized a significant increase in the number of mental health related cases. Attempted suicides, erratic behavior, and violent outbursts have been addressed at a patrol level with much more frequency. Sergeant Joel Sanders, our crisis intervention team, that's commonly referred to as the CIT team, Joel's our coordinator. He recently provided a presentation to the city council, and during that presentation, he reported that there have been CIT-related contacts from 325 in 2012 to 454 in 2013. Joel indicated that those were rather conservative numbers, and based on some additional research he conducted where he actually reviewed each of the 2013 police reports, he actually identified 681 CIT-related calls in 2013. I wish I had a lot more time to present you information about what the CIT program is all about, but with such limited time, what I would suggest is I would ask Joel at some future point to come when the entire committee is here, and he can present an overview of what the CIT program is, and then any questions you have about that program, you can address specifically with him.
Chief, I don't mean to interrupt, but just real quickly, there was an article in the News Gazette week and a half, 2 weeks ago, about the increase in mental health-related calls and relationship between police officers. I don't know if you're familiar with that. I mean, if that's to be believed, your numbers are absolutely right on the money, that we're seeing that rise. I don't know, any of you see that? Okay.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
No, that's okay. I'm here tonight because several weeks ago we were confronted by yet another one of those events. And what I like to do is just share a 7-minute video with you so that I can show you firsthand some of the concerns that I'm faced with and the police officers are faced with concerning the tools that are currently available to the police. And when I say that, I'm going to, you can watch on your screen, but I'll identify with the pointer at certain points. I think just to set the context, you need to be aware that this is early morning. The roads were completely ice covered, and that plays a role in the potential consequences of what could have happened had somebody slipped and fallen on the ground instead of what happened. So with that, let me get this started. The first portion of it is just
911, what's the
audio.
address of the emergency?
Yeah, I'm in my car. There's a young man on Main Street. He's got a knife. He's covered in blood.
You said he has a knife in his hands?
Yes, he has a knife in his hand. He's got a white T-shirt on and black shorts and flip-flops, and he's just
I guess
in the
we'll have to
middle
watch
of the
this one.
road.
It'll just be audio for a portion.
Check welfare main in Art Bartel. About late 20s to early 30s, heavy set, walking eastbound in the middle of the road. He's wearing a white T-shirt, black shorts, and appears to have blood on the lower part of his shirt. A heavy set female walking alongside of him. There's also a heavy set female walking alongside of him. 341 telephone. 370, 341. We're getting more calls now. Second caller advised male has a knife in his hands. They're now at Main and Dotson. Main and Dotson.
Champaign County 911, what's the address of the emergency?
We've got some guy standing in the middle of the road bleeding.
Okay.
It's Dotson and Maris, or Main.
Main and Dodson, you said?
Yeah, he's just west of this intersection. White T-shirt. He's got blood all over his chest. He's wearing black shorts.
Okay.
And then there's a woman, too, up by the side of the road. I don't know if she's calling 911 or not.
Okay, give me just a second. Are you close enough you could see if he needs an ambulance, or?
This guy's just freaking out. He's just standing in the middle of the road.
Oh, okay.
I don't know if he's got something in his hand.
And you're
going to
see a series
He's
of
got something in his
in-car
hand.
videos
Okay. All right.
coming
His
to the
left arm's
scene now.
covered in blood also.
Okay, yeah, it looks like we had gotten a call and there were some officers headed that way. We'll give them the updates.
Yeah, they don't mean to expedite. This guy's, he's starting to walk east now. He's got a knife in his hand, for sure.
Getting a third call now also. Be advised he's cutting his wrist at this time.
Champaign County 911, the address of your emergency.
Please, I need
Okay, can you take a deep breath for me?
Okay,
Take a deep breath.
right here on Main Street.
We're out on Main Street.
By Scotswood.
Where?
Scotswood.
Okay, what's going on?
Please stop doing that. The police are going to call. I beg, stop
Ma'am?
walking like that. Yes.
What's going on?
He's slitting his wrist.
He what?
He's slitting his wrist and walking around.
Okay.
He is really intoxicated.
Okay, you're at Main and Scotswood?
He has by there, but he's running back and forth, stopping traffic. Please hurry. Send an ambulance, please. No,
You know who he is?
Yes, I will. Please, babe, stop. Stop.
Okay, ma'am.
Please, stop.
Do you know who he is?
Yes.
Who is he?
My boyfriend.
Okay. He's at Main and Scotswood?
Yes. Babe, please. Please, put that down, babe.
Okay, ma'am, take a deep breath for me. How old is he?
Huh?
How old is he?
Babe, throw the knife.
What?
Throw it. Just throw the knife.
This is the first officer
Okay, is he
getting to the scene.
violent?
Man, 34123. Yeah, within the neighborhood.
Man, what's going on? You dropped the knife, man. Drop the knife. Drop the knife.
Yeah, 34143. You got blood on the shirt, pacing back and forth, refusing to drop the knife.
Drop the knife. Drop the knife.
Kind of important to look in the background to watch the people that are starting to congregate as well as the people in the cars. Just keep an eye on them because they'll play a role later.
Put his knife on the pavement and then walk away.
34143 still actively carrying his wrist.
Put the knife down, man. Come this way. Come down here. Come on. Man, 34143 still actively cutting his wrist.
I don't know if you heard that, but he was still actively cutting his wrists.
Get back from him, please. Can you guys back up for me? Put down, man, put down. Put down, man. Drop the knife. Drop the knife, man, come on. Hey, get back from the police. Get away. Get back. Hey, man, what's your name? Come here, let's talk. Come on. What's the deal, dude? Come on, man. Come on. Yo, hey. Get back. Put it down.
Now, this is a video from an officer on the other side, on the east side, and he's retrieving a less lethal shotgun now. What we used to refer to as a beanbag round. In the supervisor cars.
Banner units, watch your crossfire. Watch your crossfire.
Put it down, dude. Put it down.
They're trying to keep him contained at this
I'm gonna
point.
hit you with this. Get out! Get on the ground! On the ground!
Now there's two older people up on the porch here who are now watching that, so these officers have to flank them in an effort to try to intercept them from getting up to those folks. They've shot him 4 times with less lethal, and watch this guy right here coming up. This is a county deputy who was at Main and Vine and came to assist us. And what he did was right here was deployed the taser, and immediately we were able to get him into custody and get him to the hospital because he probably would have died had we not taken the measures that we did at that precise moment. So I share that video because, you know, when I talk about the less lethal rounds in bean bags, that's the only other less lethal option shy of pepper spray or an impact weapon that we have. Actually, I'm going to ask Lieutenant Rich Searles to bring this up. This was the actual, not the actual device, but this is the device that was used to shoot him in an effort to gain his compliance. And that's, quite frankly, it's a pain compliance tool. It looks like a toy, and yet it's very soft, but the kinetic energy is very strong. And as a result of that, you need to look at the photographs that we obtained at the hospital to show you that it certainly had a direct impact, and you typically shoot those in large muscle groups in an effort to get them to drop to the ground. But there were some drugs involved in this and some mental health issues, and as a result, it was almost completely ineffective. And the taser actually immediately took him into custody. As a result of our officers facing more of these types of events, next Monday I'm going to ask the City Council to support a limited implementation of tasers so that we don't end up having to take a person's life because we don't have any other options available to us. If you hadn't noticed on the video, at one point the gentleman's charging the police officer with the knife, running toward him. The officer draws his firearm and starts retreating, going backwards. He's a
seasoned veteran, an experienced police officer. Unfortunately, he was able to do that, but you also noticed that the roads were completely covered with ice. Had he fallen to the ground and the guy continued to charge, quite honestly, the officer would have had no option but to protect his own life. So those are the kind of concerns, and obviously, our ultimate goal is that nobody gets hurt, and we certainly don't want the impact of having to use deadly force for the officer involved, certainly for the person who needs the mental health treatment, for the families involved, and for the community. So I'm proposing, I understand this is a very controversial topic, so what I'm proposing is that we approach this by providing a limited number of tasers to 10 CIT officers. In addition to that, what I'd like to do is build oversight in from the onset, since each taser deployment actually has audio and video recording with it. What I would like to ask is for the Civilian Police Review Board to review those deployments with me so that we can ensure as a oversight group that we were within compliance of the policy. This was proposed to the mayor some time ago, and she spent a great deal of time studying this issue for a number of years. But this most recent event that I shared with her helped her determine that we're going to move forward with this proposal. Tonight, I just wanted to touch base with you folks to let you know that if we are given the go-ahead, what I would like to ask from this group is, Rich Searles just got back from TASER training. He has collected an enormous number of TASER policies from throughout the country, and what I would like to do is work together as a group so that we could develop a policy that is most comfortable for all of us, that fits the needs that I am looking for, and then we can also develop the method in which we will have oversight if or when one of these TASER deployments occur. Monday night, actually, Dr. Mike Slosher from the Police Training Institute and Rich Searles are going to present all the technical stuff concerning how does the TASER work. You know, I've heard that it kills people. All of those issues will be addressed Monday night. Certainly, you're welcome to come to the City Council meeting Monday night. I will, however, if this moves forward, what I will do instead is ask Dr. Slosher and Rich to come yet again, and we will, when we start this process by building the policy and whatnot, we'll present all of that information again so that if you have any questions at all, by the end of it, hopefully all of those questions will be answered for you.
Do we have any questions right now? Go ahead.
Is Urbana Police Department the only agency that is without tasers?
No, Champaign and Urbana are the only two agencies. And again, I have a whole list of agencies within Champaign County that do have tasers. Champaign does not either, correct.
Is there some data from the community, state police, the university, about any use and consequences?
There is. And all of that will be presented Monday. All of that information actually went out in the packets over the course of the last couple of weeks, and I will certainly share all that with you.
It's Monday night at
7,
7 p.m.
correct. Right.
Were the council to okay this, what kind of timeline do you have for implementation?
Well, that's a good question, and I wish I could implement it tomorrow. Unfortunately, we're also on some incredibly strict funding guidelines, so my only option is to wait to see whether or not the JAG grant would be available, at which point we can fund at least a portion of them. You know, I may have to start small and only get 5 tasers. My concern is I can't rely on the Champaign County Sheriff's Office, who happened to be at Main and Vine at the time this call came out. Had they been in Rantoul, there could have been much more serious consequences. So I'm going to try to get them implemented as quickly as possible, but there's a lot of stuff. We need to develop a policy. We need to develop an oversight process. We certainly need to get the funding. Rich is going to provide all the training, which is a minimum of 12 hours per officer. So they're not implemented tomorrow or next week.
Okay. I don't know, maybe I'm getting into the weeds here, but it sounds as though the only two agencies locally, I assume state police have this
They do.
equipment? Okay, but locally, other than the state, so the sheriff's department and UIPD have this equipment?
Correct.
And so, I mean, our local history would just really be based on what those two departments have done in their usage.
And that information's already been provided. Unfortunately, I didn't bring it with me this evening, but I
Okay.
can tell you it
But-
was
but
less than.
we've got some history there based on those two departments.
We do,
Yeah,
correct.
okay. Anybody else have any other questions?
Okay.
All right, well,
Does that include Rantoul?
Rantoul also has tasers. That's
actually, I
correct.
think Rantoul, if I recall correctly.
Thomasboro has tasers.
Rantoul's-
Colono has tasers.
Rantoul's had tasers for a long time, I
Correct.
think, haven't
The
they?
sheriff's office has had them for over 10 years.
Yeah. Well, I think we'll see how this plays out tomorrow, or Monday night.
Right.
But Chief, I guess from my standpoint, I just want to thank you for, saying, okay, we have this need, we have this problem, but most of all, from our perspective, is we're happy to have the oversight.
Right.
And I think that's the kind of thing that the citizenry has a right to expect from their police department. And I'm certainly encouraged by you coming here tonight and saying, okay, we need this, and you can look all you want, and I think if we can work on a joint policy, because since we're the ones who are going to be reviewing this
Right.
anyway, assuming that takes, I think that certainly is a step forward.
Good. Yeah. And again, I didn't want to share too much information with you this evening, but I assure you that this is not a one-pronged approach. We have other checks and balances in place already. Rich heads up the response to resistance committee every time a use of force event occurs within our police agency, even someone drawing a firearm. That information is reviewed by this committee of defensive tactics instructors and firearms experts and detectives who work death investigations, and this committee looks at it and says, what can we do better? What do we need to do to improve our policy? What do we need to do to discipline? That's ultimately my responsibility, and I think with that oversight in place, I feel very comfortable rather than the alternative of having to resort to deadly force because we don't have another option available.
Any other questions?
Thanks for your time.
All right, thank you.
All right.
Todd, do you have comments on the IDOT traffic study?
Yeah, I just wanted to inform the committee that the mayor has appointed an 11-person task force to review the IDOT traffic stop statistics. The meetings will start as soon as we can get everyone coordinated and find an appropriate meeting time and place. As they are making different findings and conducting their investigations and their discussions, I will keep this body informed of any pertinent information that they generate or produce. But I at least wanted to make that note, and if you're interested, I can get you the resolution that the council passed to form the task force and get you any other type of background information that you like.
Would it be possible for us to get the minutes of their meetings?
Sure. Yeah.
Is everybody good with that? I think I'd like to have that, just to have that available to us. You can send it electronically, that's fine.
Yeah.
But I think we'd like to have the minutes of those meetings as well, just to see what kind of progress and what kinds of issues are being addressed. See if anyway through the back door we end up seeing that somehow.
Yes,
Okay?
sir. Yes, sir.
Incident categorization subcommittee.
Yeah, I discussed this in, I think it was October. I just wanted to bring it up one more time. I think we had a couple of volunteers at that time, people who were willing to sit down with me and go over quite a long list of incidents and sort of work. Yeah, I think it was Ivy and who else
Ivy and
volunteered?
Diane.
Okay. Volunteered to work with me on that. I just wanted to sort of renew, I want to let everyone know that that is still sort of on track. I want to probably try and get together within the next month or so to start on those cases. We'll start from current and go backwards because we have cases going back to 2008 that we don't necessarily have to recategorize them. I just want other pairs of eyes looking at them other than me so that we can choose the most appropriate categories. And I think that's it.
You'll contact us and let us know.
Yes,
when you
yes,
contact us,
yes.
'cause I was wondering when that was going to happen.
Yes.
Okay.
Any additional announcements? Tony, you got anything that we need to know? Okay, fair enough. I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
Minutes.
Oh, yeah, thank you, Diane, thank you very much. Yeah. That's okay, that's okay, that's okay, that's okay. I do want to declare a quorum, and with that, I also would like approval of the minutes of the last meeting. Is there a motion?
Make a motion to approve the minutes.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Same, opposed, same sign. Thank you for reminding me, Diane, keeping me on track. That's why I like having you around here, among other reasons. Not to mention that you're pretty smart. Now I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Second?
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.